Trenches, soldiers dying in mud, ideologies clashing, democracy versus fascism, capitalism versus communism, the 20th century's great conflicts, millions dead, entire continents burning, the noble struggles that defined modern history. Except while soldiers were dying in those trenches, men in suits were sitting in Basel, Switzerland, drinking champagne, trading gold, doing business, not occasionally, continuously, throughout every war, every conflict, every ideological battle. Nazi bankers and American bankers at the same table, in the same building, during the height of World War II, not secretly, officially, legally, protected by Swiss neutrality, CIA black budgets and KGB petrodollars. In the same vaults, same banks, same offshore networks. During the Cold War, not espionage, not infiltration, standard banking services. They told us wars were about ideology, about principles, about good versus evil. But if enemies' money sits in the same vault, who's really profiting from the conflict? This is Dark Money Historian. And this is the story of how neutrality became history's most profitable business model. How Swiss banks laundered Nazi gold while the Holocaust raged. How the Bank for International Settlements operated as a financial Vatican where warfare didn't interrupt commerce. And how the same system that served Hitler also served both sides of the Cold War. Because money doesn't have nationality, doesn't have morality, only liquidity. And Switzerland understood that better than anyone. 1940. Europe is burning. Nazi Germany has conquered France, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, Norway. The Wehrmacht is unstoppable. Tank divisions rolling through every border, every neutral country violated, every sovereignty crushed. Except Switzerland, tiny Switzerland, completely surrounded by Axis powers, no strategic value, easily conquered, yet untouched. The Wehrmacht never crosses that border, not because they can't, because they won't. Why? Because Switzerland serves a function, a critical function. It's the laundromat, the place where stolen gold becomes legitimate currency, where the Nazi war machine converts plunder into the resources needed to continue the war. The Nazis are looting Europe systematically, every conquered nation's central bank, every treasury. Gold reserves seized, Belgium's gold, Netherlands' gold, Austria's gold, Czechoslovakia's gold, all confiscated, all needing conversion to usable currency. But gold is traceable, especially central bank gold. Serial numbers, records, international protocols. You can't just spend stolen gold openly. It needs cleaning, needs legitimization, needs a bank that will accept it, no questions asked. Enter Swiss banks. They don't ask where the gold came from, don't verify ownership, don't check if it's stolen. They accept Nazi gold deposits, convert it to Swiss francs, allow the Nazis to purchase critical war materials, tungsten for armor-piercing rounds, ball bearings for aircraft, oil and rubber, all the materials Germany can't produce domestically, all purchased through Switzerland using laundered gold. This isn't passive neutrality, this is active facilitation. Swiss banks are the financial engine making Nazi conquest sustainable. Without Swiss laundering, the Wehrmacht runs out of strategic materials. The war machine stops. And it's not just state gold, it's worse, much worse. Holocaust gold, wedding rings, dental fillings, jewelry, taken from Jewish victims, melted down, recast into bars, deposited in Swiss banks. No questions, no verification, just business. Switzerland knew, the banks knew, the government knew. They all knew the gold was stolen, knew it came from victims, knew they were profiting from genocide, and they accepted it anyway, because neutrality isn't a moral position, it's a business model. And business was excellent. Swiss banks made fortunes, collected fees on every transaction, charged for currency conversion, for storage, for transfers, for every service. The more gold flowed, the more they profited. This is what neutrality actually means. Not refusing to take sides, providing services to all sides, for a fee, making yourself indispensable to everyone, so nobody can afford to destroy you. Zentralbahnplatz 2, Basel, Switzerland. An unremarkable 18-story building, no dramatic architecture, no visible security, just offices. But this building has more power than most governments, more immunity than most embassies. This is the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, the central bank of central banks, founded 1930, headquarters in Switzerland. And during World War II, it operated normally, completely normally. While the world burned, the building has special status. Swiss law doesn't fully apply. Swiss police cannot enter without permission. BIS employees have diplomatic immunity. Archives are inviolable. It's a sovereign entity operating on Swiss soil, but beyond Swiss control. During the war, BIS board meetings continued. Nazi representatives, American representatives, British representatives, all attending, all conducting business. While their countries were killing each other, their bankers were making deals. Thomas McKittrick, American president of BIS, met regularly with Nazi officials, facilitated gold transactions, maintained normal operations, while Americans died at Normandy and in the Pacific, while the Holocaust consumed Europe. Banking continued. This wasn't treason, it was explicitly allowed. BIS had immunity. Its operations were considered separate from national conflicts. Financial infrastructure that transcended warfare. Money that mattered more than ideology. Nazi Germany used BIS to move money internationally, to convert stolen gold into usable currency, to access international markets despite blockades. The institution founded to manage reparations from World War I became the tool enabling World War II. Allied nations protested. Some officials demanded BIS closure, called it collaboration with the enemy, but nothing happened. BIS was too useful, too connected, too important to international finance. It survived, expanded, became more powerful after the war. Because the real lesson wasn't about morality, it was about necessity. Global finance requires institutions that operate regardless of political conflicts, banks that serve all sides, money that flows regardless of ideology. BIS proved that system works and survives. 1945, World War II ends. The enemies change. Fascism defeated. Now capitalism versus communism. Democracy versus totalitarianism. The Cold War begins. New conflicts, new ideologies, new battle lines. Except the banks don't change. The offshore networks don't change. The Swiss system doesn't change. It just gets new customers, same services, different flags, identical functions. CIA needs to fund operations, coups in Latin America. Dictatorships in Southeast Asia, paramilitary groups worldwide. Can't use official budgets. Congress asks questions. Public demands accountability. So CIA uses black budgets, offshore accounts, Swiss banks. The money flows through Switzerland, through Caribbean tax havens, through shell corporations. Untraceable, unaccountable. Funding operations the American public would never approve. Torture programs, assassination campaigns, drug trafficking partnerships, all financed through the same neutral banking system. KGB needs hard currency. Soviet Union produces oil, sells it for dollars, needs to buy Western technology, computer chips, machine tools, precision equipment, items officially embargoed, can't buy directly. So they use offshore networks, Swiss intermediaries, shell companies. Soviet petrodollars convert to Swiss francs. Swiss francs buy Western technology through neutral jurisdictions. Technology flows east, money flows west. Everyone profits. The Cold War is hot in the streets, but profitable in the banks. And here's the beautiful part. CIA money and KGB money often use the same institutions. Same banks, same offshore structures, same lawyers. They're enemies in public, customers in private. Their payments clearing through identical systems. Because banks don't care about ideology. Don't distinguish between capitalist intelligence agencies and communist intelligence agencies. Both have money, both need services, both get served for appropriate fees. This reveals the truth about the Cold War. The public narrative was ideological struggle, existential conflict between incompatible systems. But follow the money, and you see collaboration, shared infrastructure, common financial interests. The superpowers must position themselves as mortal enemies, but their money shared vaults, their assets used identical offshore structures. Their black operations were financed through the same neutral banking system. They were competitors in geopolitics, partners in finance. Switzerland profited from both, charged fees to both, provided secrecy to both, grew wealthy serving enemies simultaneously. Because that's what real neutrality means, not refusing to participate. Participating with everyone, for profit. So what's the lesson? What does this sordid history reveal about power and money and how the world actually works? First, neutrality is a marketing term for amoral profit-seeking. Switzerland wasn't neutral because of pacifism or principle. It was neutral because serving all sides is more profitable than choosing one. Neutrality is business model. Second, ideology is theater for the masses, while money operates on different rules. They told populations to hate the enemy, to sacrifice for the cause, to believe in the struggle. Meanwhile, the elites on both sides use the same banks, the same offshore networks, the same Swiss discretion. Third, certain institutions exist above national sovereignty. BIS operated during World War II with immunity. Swiss banks served Nazis, CIA, KGB without consequence. These aren't bugs in the system, they're features. Infrastructure for global finance that transcends politics. Fourth, war is business, not metaphorically, literally. Nazi gold became Swiss profits. CIA operations enriched offshore bankers. KGB petrodollars funded Western intermediaries. Every conflict generates revenue for those positioned correctly. The soldiers believed, died for ideology, for principles, for their countries. But the money didn't believe. It just calculated. Flows to lowest risk, highest return, best discretion. Always has, always will. This is Dark Money Historian. We follow the money to show you that wars have winners you never see, that neutrality costs more than taking sides, that enemies are fiction for everyone except bankers. So here's the question. Swiss banks served all sides in the 20th century's great conflicts. Who's the new Switzerland in 21st century wars? Is it crypto exchanges enabling sanctions evasion? Tech companies selling to everyone? Offshore tax havens still doing what they always did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss who's profiting from modern conflicts while the world watches the theater.